Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Let me adjust the lighting. You know how to adjust the lighting all the time. Hello, replay viewers. There's no live viewers yet. So, replay viewer, please say hello. Some people have been saying hello on the replay, and I really, really appreciate that, which is great. So happy Saturday. It's November 2nd, and it's good to see you. If you're in the live chat, say hello. I would love to hear from you too. So it's Saturday, everybody. It's Saturday. Okay, let me just do this. Sorry. Here's the deal. On YouTube, with what I do now, there's no I can't get it to a preview. So I'm going to change the way I do it. So that's why sometimes like lighting, I'm like, what is that? Usually I'm like, boom. So anyway, that lighting. Okay. Uno momento. Good morning, Kyrie. Good to see you. Good morning. Hold on one second. Let me just go do this real quick. I have to shut this window. It's too much. Okay, I think. All right. Kyrie's here, and if you're here on the replay, hello. One thing that I kind of failed to mention is that moving from Insight Timer to here is that there is replays. A lot of people always wanted replays, and Insight Timer didn't do that. So we got replays here, which is great. And I've seen that a lot of you have been watching the replays. If you're watching the replays, please put in the comments that you're saying hello or anything that comes up for you. I'll go back every day and I will look and I will check them out. So, all right. So before we get moving today and start our day, we're going to do some silent time. Well, maybe not silent, but we're going to breathe. We're going to breathe. So wherever you're at, even if you're driving, you can take a moment to breathe. You don't have to shut your windows. You don't have to shut your eyes. Your windows. Your eyes are the window to the world. Oh, eyes are the window to the soul. So, oh God, cheesy. All right, so let's just take a moment. And all we're going to do is breathe. We're just going to sit and breathe. Here we go. Take a few deep breaths and open your eyes when you're ready. Hello, 5 people. Good to see you, 5 people. Good to see you, 5 people. All right, everybody. It is November 2nd. 3 more days. 3 more days. I'm here to make sure that you know that in 4 more days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 3 more days. In the United States, you have a choice to make. That's all I'm saying. So welcome to the Maximize Your Mornings. Is there anyone new here? Pointers to the group is still up on IT. They're not answering my emails. So I will look. Kyrie, I will look. Thank you. Yeah, 3 days. Got a choice to make. So follow what feels right for you. All right. So just that was your friendly civic reminder. All right. If you're new here, please say hello in the chat. This is an interactive show. The interaction is between you and me. My name is Max Ryan. I have been working with people for more than 35 years. Everything that we talk about here always comes back to the idea, you can call it a concept, I guess, of abiding non-dual awareness. Abiding non-dual awareness is something that you cannot learn, that I cannot teach you, because it is already here. So you cannot teach what you already know. You already actually know abiding non-dual awareness, but you think you don't know. And all abiding non-dual awareness is the lack of duality. The lack of duality. And duality is good, bad, male, female, false, true, better, best, successful, failure. All of those things are duality. And abiding non-duality is the elimination of all of that, And all of that is, all the duality is suffering. Because no matter what side of the stick you happen to be on in duality, there's always this pull, or it's a slow decline into the other side of the stick. It doesn't matter. So you're always one way or the other way. Your character is. And your character is not the truth of what you really are. But your character is going good, bad, happy, sad. All of that stuff is happening. And that is called suffering. Hello, Nina. Good morning. Good to see you. So what we talk about is the other, which is abiding non-dual awareness, which is right here, which is right now, right here, right now. And on this show, what we do is we have quotes, we have discussions, and we ask questions. Asking questions is really important. So, and our questions here sometimes can be very deep, or they can be very light. It all depends. So if you would like to share this out with your friends, that would be awesome. If not, then don't do that. Don't do that. All right. So, I remembered something. The other day, was it yesterday or the day before? What was the last movie you saw? And I remember what the last movie I saw. It's because I was talking to my friends. Now it's different because I watched a movie with friends last night, but I'll tell you about that. I watched We Live in Time. That was the last movie that I really sat down and really watched, and it was really good. I really highly recommend it. It's a very, very, very touching, beautiful film about life and about time, and it does definitely touch on some of the stuff that we talk about here. That's for sure. So if you're interested in that, I highly recommend it. I thought it was a beautiful film. Definitely take your Kleenex. But it's beautifully acted. Florence Pugh just gets better and better. I just think she's going to be around for a long time. She's very good. And yeah, so there's that. All right. So, All right, let's do a question. Let's do another question for all of us here. Does anyone want to say or ask anything before we get into our show today? Anything about non-dual awareness? Anything about anything? Anything about that light? That light? No, that light. That's drives me insane. Look. Watch if I put that right there. Good morning! Tiffany is here. I put that there. I have that light. It doesn't matter. Stop it. So, okay. Let's do a question. We're going to use this. We're going to use this book. Use this book. And I'm going to randomly pick something. Let's go. Here we go. Okay. I have to pick a good one. This is good. Okay, this is good. How many pairs of shoes do you own? How many pairs of shoes do you own? I have to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7. I have 7 pairs of shoes. I was thinking about that the other day. I have this one pair of shoes I wear every day when I go for my walks. But I'm home a lot, so I don't wear shoes most of the time. And but those shoes I wear, and I have 2 pairs of those shoes. One are the really nice version. They're white New Balance tennis shoes. The nice, clean, really good version. So when I go out and I want to look good and wear tennis shoes, I wear those. But most of the days I wear these other ones, and they're just holding up. They're just holding up. They're just holding up. And I'm like, I've had these for like 6 years. And I'm like, is there a reason for me to buy any new shoes? No, unless I want a new style, right? Tiffany says entirely too many. Nina says 10 plus. Christine, how many do I have that I never even wear? Hello, Christine. Approximately 50, Kyrie. Okay. There's a lot of females here today. I think you identify as females. And I think that females tend to like shoes more than males do. I mean, I have a friend, listen, that is rash generalization. I have a friend, a very good friend, he's a guy. He is a guy and he loves shoes. In fact, one of the pairs of shoes I have, he gave me because he was done with them and he had only worn them a couple of times. He's like, do you want these? I'm like, oh, they worked for me. So yeah. So what is it about shoes? I was watching one of my, I'll just say a guilty pleasure is On Patrol Live. I love that show. And they pulled over somebody when I was watching, and this guy had tons of shoes in his van, and he was a reseller of shoes. And he was talking about how much the cop's like, how much is the highest pair of sneakers you have in here? And he's like, probably the ones right now are $1,600. The guy's like, what? But that's not that bad not that bad. Not that unusual for some women's shoes. It's just crazy. Oh, that's right. That Christine is a Fluvog collector. Those are those character shoes, right? Thank you for giving the thumbs up. Whoever gave the thumbs up, I really appreciate that. Those are those character shoes. They look like shoes that they look like La Duca shoes. La Duca shoes, if you don't know, are the company that makes all the shoes, most of the shoes for the dancers on Broadway, and they're really cool looking. So they look like they're kind of old fashioned. Anyway, love those. Those are good. Those are good. I have a pair of shoes. Works of art, very comfortable. Yeah. And La Duca shoes are made individually. They're kind of works of art too. Some of them look very plain, but they're beautiful shoes. Christine, look up that La Duca. The La Duca factory is right down the street from my house. Of course, it's right near Broadway because that's that. So, all right. Any cool news that you have from yesterday that you did yesterday that you want to share before we get to our quote for today? If you have not already signed up for my Substack, tomorrow I will be releasing a new article. I've already told you I'm going to do a series of articles on my Substack. Every Sunday I put a new article out, and then I'll let you know what I'm doing and what's happening. So I'm going to do a series about Nietzsche and Camus and Beckett, a series of articles about those and how they interplay with the idea of non-dual awareness. Okay. All right. So anyone want to say anything or ask anything? Anybody new here that I want to meet that wants to say hello? If you're new, this is a conversation. I'm a facilitator of conversations. No? All right. So once again, we use this book a lot, and I just randomly picked this up today. This book, which I love, Fly Without Wings by Osho. Fly Without Wings, Osho. And so there's so many things in this book. So many things in this little tiny book. Little tiny book. When I first bought this book, it was $2.99. That's how old. Okay, this is a good one. Are you ready? So this is what we do if you're new here. I'll read the quote a couple times. You think about it. You put into the chat whatever you want about this. You can say, I understand it. It makes me think of this, whatever it happens to be. There is no right or wrong here, ever. That would be duality. We're just throwing things out. We're having conversations here. That's what we're doing. Okay? Give me a thumbs up or one if you're ready to hear the quote. I see ones. Okay. Even if you haven't, you can put a one. All right, here we go. It's by Osho. Christine put a cowboy. Okay. I like cowboys. Okay. Here we go. Never think for a single moment that it is weaklings who surrender. Never. Weaklings cannot surrender. Cowards cannot surrender. It is only very, very strong people who can surrender. Surrender is possible only if you are very much grounded, centered, and centered. You know that you can surrender, and yet you will not disappear into the surrender. You know that you can surrender, and yet surrender is going to bring freedom to you. I'm going to say it again. Ready? Never think for a single moment that it is weaklings who surrender. Never. Weaklings cannot surrender. Cowards cannot surrender. It is only very, very strong people who can surrender. Surrender is possible only if you are much grounded and centered. You are very much grounded and centered. You know that you can surrender, and yet you will not disappear into the surrender. You know that you can surrender, and yet surrender is going to bring freedom to you. Okay, let's go. This is a good one. And talk about a few things here. What's coming up for anybody here that just heard that? You can say, that's good, that's bad, I disagree, I agree. You can ask a question about it. So let's hear. Let's hear. Nina says, weak versus strong, question mark? I don't know. It brings up the idea of weak versus strong. Okay. When I was 16, I would have thought that was hogwash, but at 66, I totally understand this. Why do you understand it? It could be weak versus strong. I'm not sure. There's definitely some terminology that can be talked about here. Like, what is surrender, right? Let me ask you this. To let go. Okay. I got to write a couple things down. Okay, so let's talk about this, because surrender is a very specific term. Let me just write this down. Hold on. Surrender, let go, and I'm going to write another one. Give up. That's another one. Get this completely. I used to think everything was a fight to get through life, but now acceptance is so much easier. Oh, okay. So acceptance is a word that we should be talking about here. Do you think that when he's talking about, Tiffany says the flow. Okay. When he's talking about surrender here, is he talking about letting go? Is he talking about acceptance? Is he talking about giving up? And what are you surrendering? What's being surrendered? Is giving up the same as surrender? Let's talk about that. Let's say that. Is giving up the same as surrender? Is it? Is surrendering and giving up synonymous? There's no right or wrong answer. I think it's just different words. It's doing the same thing, you mean, Nina? Okay. Max said to me once, you only fall when you give up or don't ask for help. Oh, fail. That's right. When you give up or don't ask for help, change your life. That's the truth. Sometimes giving up can just mean have had enough and I'm going to stop this. Very good. Oh, Christine, I just thought of that. What you just said is exactly what I was just thinking. I was going to say, what is required to truly surrender? And that's the word. What? Oh, shoot. Hey, let's go backwards. Trust, right? So trust is an element in this conversation. That's for sure. Trust is an element in this conversation. When trust is developed, surrender becomes much easier, right? So when people say, let go, let God, surrender everything, give it all up, and their character has not developed trust, or trust hasn't been developed, it is literally almost impossible to do it. Because what comes first before is it can happen at the same time, the development of surrender. Sometimes surrendering, if you can do it, will make you understand trust. The character will understand trust. That's for sure. And developing trust is something that's a whole other topic, right? It's a whole other topic. But developing trust, it's not required for surrender, but it sure does help. It sure does help. Now, nothing is good or bad, and there's no chicken before the egg or egg before the chicken. So sometimes the surrender develops the trust, and sometimes developing trust helps you to surrender. But they're intertwined. I mean, they're inevitably always intertwined somehow. You have to have just enough trust. It's kind of like, I think about when I first learned to ski when I was a kid, and I'd be on the top of like the hardest mountain in the world. I'd be scared to death, usually because my sister would take me up and I wouldn't know where I was going. And she takes me out to these hardcore black diamond expert runs. And she'd laugh and she's like, okay, good luck. And she'd go. And I'd be like, are you kidding me? I would have to find the trust somehow within myself, because only way to get down is to surrender. You have to surrender. You have to surrender somehow and just go, right? So I just wanted to say that. People are saying surrender is a willingness to learn and trust. That's a very cool thought. I love it. Jinx, love it. So true. You need to have to let go to give it to something greater than yourself. that is definitely a way to be thinking about it, to be looking at it, that it's kind of like Kyrie and everyone, how I would say there's something else going on here. What's that something else? The character will never really understand what that something else is, right? It's not going to understand what the real you is. It's not going to understand that thing, that's something greater, right? But when that something greater, remember this is all pointers, when that something else begins to be experienced somehow, then the surrender becomes a lot easier. This is why, like in Jed McKenna says that what he talks about spiritual enlightenment, spiritual awakening, he says basically that in the dream state, in the illusion, that everyone as they get older gets closer to this. Kyrie just really mentioned that about when I was 19, this was difficult. When I was 66, it's a very different thing, because as the character lives through life, it learns no matter what. It just learns, right? So it learns to not give a crap about what people think. It learns to not try to please people. It learns, I mean, hopefully, it learns to do all that stuff, right? So you surrender your need for other people to approve of you. You surrender. This is natural surrender, right? The natural wanting people to like you, the natural, I mean, this is very natural, I'm saying, but you surrender the obsession with getting things right. You surrender your perfectionism in general. So it naturally does happen for the character. It does. But what we're talking about is to intentionally, the character makes an intention to wake up, to surrender, to see something else, right? What else is happening? I think this is a great conversation. It's a great conversation because and I will say this, there's a definite reference. If you are a Course in Miracles student, like most of you are on some level, I think, go to the manual for teachers at the back of the book and read the beginning part. And he talks about the development of trust. Most people don't read that part. And it's so important. So important. A lot of my students know this already, but go there and read that. He says everything is based on development of trust. And then things can start to happen, right? Tiffany says, it's an illusory thought that strength is independence and self-sufficiency. And that would be great, except it's not possible even in the illusion. That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thou doth protest too much. You know what Shakespeare said, because Shakespeare knew what we were talking about. So Shakespeare would say, thou doth protest too much. Why does he say that? Because people that show strength, that are showing strength, they're saying, I will beat them, I will win the war, I will conquer you, da, 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 da. What they're doing is they're protesting against something that they think is real. And it is real in the illusion, that's for sure. But it's not real. It's real in the illusion, but it's not real. It's temporary. It's temporary, right? That's why when a horrible thing happens, to respond to it with love on some level, on the most elemental level, but to respond with love, first of all, it throws people off. Second of all, it changes the whole dynamic of the attack, defend, attack, defend, attack, defend. So if there's an attack and there's not a defense over here, there's just love, then this attack thing goes, huh? You're supposed to defend. No, I'm not going to defend. Just not defending is an act of love, right? Mm-hmm. In an argument, in a fight, whatever it happens to be. People will be like, "Oh, so you're definitely looking at being what's it called, a pacifist. Well, yeah, in a way. Okay, let's see. Kyrie says, I can look back over my life and see the track record of how everything did work out, and usually better than I could have done in my way. Very good. Very good. So think about that today. Think about surrender. Think about trust. Think about your level of trust in yourself. Well, don't really trust yourself. Trust in that something else. Some people will call that God. And if you need to call it God, more power to you. You don't have to call it God. You don't have to call it God. You can say there's something else going on here. Many people in spirituality call that God. You don't have to call that God. I'm here to tell you, you don't have to call that God. Right? Take a deep breath. All right. I hope that today's quote from Osho, and I really highly recommend that you do some studying of Osho, because he might not be your exact, an exact match for you, but I'm sure you're going to find some stuff. Go listen to some of his stuff. Oh, he's a hoot to listen to here on YouTube. Go listen to him and be like, and he talks really slow. It's funny. And that Netflix documentary, Wild Country or whatever of his, you could watch it if you want to. There was a big scandal with him. Just know there was a big scandal with him. They don't talk about his teachings at all. They talk about the scandal, of course. So anyway, okay. Anyone want to say anything before we go? Remember, if you would like to make a donation, you can. And even replay viewers, you can make a super chat donation. I'd really appreciate that. Somebody has suggested I put my Venmo in there. I will try to do that. So it's in my bio. You can make a donation on PayPal. You can do whatever you want to. You're welcome, Kyrie. And make sure that you're signed up on my Substack for my weekly newsletters and articles. This week, again, we're going to start this new series of articles. I've written 2 of them so far. I gotta look at them. So tomorrow, I think we're going to do the Beckett one tomorrow. I think, but look for that, and then you'll know everything that I'm doing. Just go to maxryan.substack.com, and the link is here. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you. I love you. I love you. And please let me know if you need anything at all. You can send me an email. You can if you write a comment here, and just write a comment, and I'll get back to you. Okay. Oh, Kyrie, thank you so much. Look at that little happy pear. Is that a happy pear? It's a happy pear. I love it. Thank you so much. Okay. I love you, everybody. Have a wonderful week. And I will see you on November 5th on Tuesday. So I'll be back on Tuesday and we'll do some more fun stuff. Okay. Have a great couple of days and I'll talk to you later. Okay, everybody. I love you. Au revoir.